What's poppin', everybody? Bren Boy here, chilling in the Rip City basement, bridging the gap between hip hop fanatics' demand to hear technique and Portland's electronic obsession. Today, I'm chilling with Las Vegas, Nevada rapper, very unique, gritty style. Please welcome to the show, Toxsikk.
Peace.
Bro? How's it going?
It's going good, bro. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I saw you first in Portland at the Star Theater. You were opening for Dizzy Wright, Demrick, DJ Hoppa. What a show, bro. You really did your thing up there, man.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, we had a good ass time, bro. That was my first time in Portland.
What was your first impression when you got to Portland? Like everyone's got like something that's kind of like, oh, this is different, but what did you notice that stood out?
I didn't know how much of a big city it was. When I think of Oregon, I thought, I'm from Vegas, so all we got is the desert. So when I think of Oregon, I'm thinking just big greenery. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't realize it was like, there was a big city, as well. So that was like the first thing I noticed. You know what I mean? But it had a vibe to it. I'm rocking with Portland.
That's tight. There was definitely a lot of people at your guys' show. I mean, the house was packed.
Yeah, it was live, bro. The whole house was going crazy. I mean, man, I'm such a big city kid, man. When it comes to just tall buildings and alleyways and just crazy traffic, it excites me, man. There's something about it that feels like home to me. So when I got here, it had a bit of like a mixed vibe of maybe like some San Francisco versus kind of New Yorkish. It has a few different vibes here, but I'm liking. It was the first time we had some good weather, so I've been liking the weather the whole time. We've been very cold lately.
How did this whole rapping thing start? Were you always a rapper, or did you play instrument first? Tell me a little bit about the birth of this.
Well, my family's always been heavy into music. My dad he still raps now. My older brother was a very, very popular name in Las Vegas growing up, and they all just kind of held a kind of stature in Vegas that I had to kind of match, you know what I mean, when I got into it. So it really started out with just family. I got into audio engineering really early, around like 13. And I just started to kind of like learn the process myself, you know what I mean, through just recording myself, mixing myself, learning how to write better and just getting better over time. And yeah, it just blossomed over time. So, but it's been about a good 15 years in the game. So, so far, just as far as like taking the craft seriously and just consistently progressing.
You remember the first song or beat or freestyle that you kicked that just made everybody around you go, well, damn, I think he's got it. Like, what, what was that first moment?
I mean, I feel like if it was for everybody else, it might have been like I don't know, maybe one of the first songs I ever came out with. But like those songs are long gone, like off the internet and everything. I don't even have them in my possession. I made sure those audio files don't even exist. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean, bro. Because when you put it out, you're so excited about it. You're like, oh, I'm finally, you think like you're popping your collar about it. And then a few years later, you put out something that's like 3 steps higher and you're like, man, I don't want to show that to anybody.
Exactly. It's almost cringe-worthy. So you got to get to a point where it's like wherever you put out, it's no cringe in it years later, then it's good. Like from there, that's when, you know what I mean? You got to be smart about it.
Okay, well, let me ask you that then. What was the first single or first project that you put out that you were like, yeah, I'm not deleting this, and still to this day, it still holds some weight?
You can check it out. It's the very first album you go back to on like any of my platforms. It's called North Fifth, N5TH. It's a street I grew up on in Las Vegas, and it pretty much painted my whole childhood or upbringing essentially. And yeah, that one's with my boy DJ Final back in Las Vegas, and it's a joint project, and we went crazy on that. We took so much time putting in work into the transitions and into the post production and just heavy mixing. So that's the first one that I'm like, I'm always solid on that one.
Was that the biggest difference then? Was just the mixing and mastering and like the production quality?
Yeah, I think it's, it's just a standard. Like, you got to keep with yourself. You know what I mean? If you up to a certain standard and you always are reaching to meet that, and it's a standard that you don't consistently meet, or you haven't done before. You know what I mean? It's just setting a goal for yourself. So
Yeah, if you're gonna try to put yourself out there with these major players, your music has to be up at that level, sound quality wise. When they hear it, you want people to immediately, have nothing to say. They could say like, oh, maybe I don't like his rhymes, but you can't say it
yeah,
don't sound good. You can't say it's
yeah.
not mastered good.
And a lot of it has to just do with building an original sound, and like always straying away from trying to do the same thing other people are doing, or building your own sound is a difficult thing to do. So working with, DJ Final on that project, he brought out a lot of originality out of it, because he's composing a lot of the music from pure scratch. You know what I mean, there's barely any samples through that project a lot of the time. So that brought out a lot of different aspects of it. You put some different production on the table, and it's like, okay, now I can kind of scale my skill and figure out, like, I can do some different shit. I can test my ability, you know what I mean, challenge myself. So turned into a whole different situation after that.
And how about today? Has your style changed up a little bit? Have you started incorporating new stuff? Tell me a little bit about how you would define your sound.
I'm very urban at this point. Like, I think I can go everywhere with it, but like, as as far as like what the type of music that I'm currently making, or that I'm focused on making in the near future, is it's definitely just very youthful, very urban hip hop. But I'm always rapping. Like, I always incorporate sophisticated, complex lyrics. You know what I mean? So I can dumb it down to a certain extent and make things fun. You know what I mean? Make it wavy, and it doesn't always have to be this hardcore, like super hard rap. Um, but yeah, I would define it as urban for sure. But like, I could always take it anywhere. If I decide to, at a point in time, to just take it straight hip hop boom bap, then I'll do that. You know what I mean? For a full project. Or, you know what I mean, I'll go auto tune or do some whole other shit people wouldn't expect. You know what I mean? So, and even like during the show, I can't really do a lot of the studio vocals. You know what I mean? That I do, that I do on the actual record. So you'll see the performance, and I'm rapping the whole time pretty much. But you go hear the records, and sometimes I'm singing on them. You know what I mean? A little different, or harmonizing. So
When they hand you a 58 to rap on, it's not a condenser mic that you're used to, or something that, you're not in an isolated booth. It's going to come out a little different when you're entertaining versus
exactly.
when you're recording it. So
And I mean, you can set it up to where you got some auto tune on your mic. I mean, people like Travis Scott does that and shit. But like, other times, it just calls for straight rap, straight, solid vocals. So it's about what you can do while you're jumping around and being super active. And not many could try to hold a note, you know what I mean, while you're doing all that extra stuff.
I feel it, man. I mean, especially being on tour and coming out as an opening act, you're supposed to be the person that gets people hyped up, that gets the ticket buyers excited about this show. So you kind of need to give them that energy, give them something to feel as they walk in the door.
Yeah, that's the whole premise behind our set, is just pumping. And we come from Vegas, so it's like we trying to get the party started. You know what I mean?
Let's go, baby. Let's go. How did you get your name Toxsikk? And what's up with the spelling? Like, what was the whole thing behind that when you first started coming out as an artist?
My older brother had his name is SU Supreme, like Supreme really is the full title. And so, but he kind of abbreviates it and just says SU a lot of the time. And so when I was growing up, a lot of people just used to call me Lil SU, just as his, baby brother. And I had to kind of escape that one title, you know what I mean? Not the position. I love being little brother to it, but I couldn't really make my own, style out of that. So just bouncing back and forth with some of my homies. One of my homeboys just called me one day and was like, "Bro," I was like, "I got it. Like the way you rap, bro, it's toxic. It just sounds right." And I was like, I was with it, but I was still like questioning it, and that's why, you know, I kind of like switched up the spelling and kind of like give it a more of a character or more theme to it. You know what I mean?
Tell me a little bit about the vision for Toxsikk. What's next? What's the ultimate in your head? Like, where do you see yourself?
I mean, you know, right now it's like, you know, you take it day by day since we're independent, and you never really know where it goes. You know what I mean? I didn't see myself, you know, on tour, you know, out of nowhere, and 2 months, 3 months after I found out, you know, I'm here. So it'll take you places you can't really plan on, but longevity is what I'm focused on, and just being around for a long time and being consistent and showcasing my work ethic, you know what I mean, and showcasing variety and just proving that, you know, I could take it here, I could take it there. There's nowhere that, you know, I can't go with the music thing. Even when it comes to production, engineering, all of that, the back, you know, behind the scenes, I want to make sure everything is displayed, you know, at its highest degree.
Think about people who are big pop stars like Prince and Michael Jackson, like the rehearsal behind these guys, you know, what they attention to every little detail, you know, that's superstardom, legendary for the rest of, you know, even when you die, people are still rocking with you, you know. So if you're going to even shoot for something remotely close to that, you're gonna have to take it serious, like you're talking about, you know.
Up all the screws, man. You gotta make sure everything's up, you know, from top to bottom, man. Just always strive for perfection. You're never gonna get perfect, but you never know, in other people's eyes, that's what it may be. You know what I mean? A lot of times us looking at people like Michael Jackson and Prince, I don't think they ever, you know, performed and we were like, oh my God, it wasn't, you know, he didn't do it perfectly. Like, a lot of times we don't see what the artist sees. You know what I mean? We're our biggest critics. So as long as you just strive for perfection, you'll get very near to it.
Yeah. Tell us about the project that you're promoting while you're on this tour. What's the title?
The project is titled Clear Run. It just dropped March 15th, this last 15th. And yeah, man, we're taking it on the road. We got a chance to, you know, drop a project and perform those songs immediately. You know what I mean, for the whole country. So it's my most prized possession right now. I'm trying to, you know, really, really market and push this as far as I can.
I love it, man. Tell everybody where we can find you on Instagram or TikTok.
At Toxsikk, TOXSIKK. I mean, don't forget the spelling.
Perfecto, brother. Hey, really great chatting with you. Thank you for being on the show. Everybody, this is Toxsikk. Go check out the new project, Clear Run. Thank you for joining us on the Rip City Basement, bridging the gap between hip-hop fanatics' demand to hear technique and Portland's electronic obsession. My name is Bren Boy, Toxsikk. Enjoy the rest of the tour, brother. We'll talk to you real soon.
Appreciate you, brother. Peace.
Peace.